I'm Anil Kumar and we'll learn multiplication and division by decimal numbers with the help of this beautiful example. In 40 liters of gasoline, my car can be driven 512 kilometers. How much distance can I drive with 16 liters of gasoline? That is tricky. So the question is, in 40 liters, we can drive 512 kilometers. Okay. In 16 liters, how much? So that is the question. Now, there is not an easy way to do it. So what we should do is, we should figure out how much can you drive in 1 liter. That is always a step. So in such a question where there is no direct relation, we should find rate, that is per liter. Okay. In 1 liter, how much? That is what we'll try to figure out. Now, how to find how much will the car go in 1 liter? In 40 liters, we can drive 512 kilometers. 1 liter is much lesser, so it has to be less. So it is less, right? Less means divide, okay? So you divide 512 divide by 40. That is what it is, correct? Why did we divide? Because it is less, so we are going downwards, less, right? So if you want to get a lesser answer, you need to divide. Okay, so for 1 liter, we need to divide. Now we'll think about 16 liters. Now 16 liters is more, right? 16 liters is more. So you got to multiply, correct? Multiply. If in 1 liter we calculate it as that much, in 16 liters we'll multiply 16 and those terms whatever we get. So that is the strategy for us, right? So in 16 liters, first divide, then multiply by 16. That is how it is going to be. Let me write it down. It should be 512. First you divide by 40 and then you multiply by 16, right? So that is how it is going to be. So we will do it in steps. There are different ways of doing it, but we're just learning how to multiply and divide at present. Let us now understand how to divide with a 2-digit number. This one is kind of simpler, but still it gives you the strategy. 512 is to be divided by 40. Now 5 is much lesser than 40, so I cannot divide 5, but 51 I can. It will go one time with 40. So when you take away 40 from 51, you get 1 and 1. Now bring down 2. Okay. Now how much? 4 times 3 is 12. 12 is much higher than 11, so it will not go 3 times. But then I can try with 2. 4. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 4 is 8. We get 80. When you take away, we get 2 here and borrow from 1. It becomes 11. This is 0. 8. When we take away from 11, we get 3. Now, we need to still divide. What can we do? After every number, you can always put a decimal and add zeros. That is what we have learned, and that's how we get into decimals. Now, when you take a number after decimal, in this case it is 0, you have to place a decimal in the quotient and then divide by this divisor. Okay, let's do it. 320. 0 times anything is 0. 4, 32, 8. Okay, so 4 times 8 is 32. So we get 320. So that means 512 divided by 40 is equal to how much? 12.8. So we get 12.8 kilometers in 1 liter. Now we know 512 divided by 40 is 12.8 and we have to times it by 16. Okay, so let's multiply 12.8 by 16. Now how to multiply decimal numbers with a 2-digit number? This is our next exercise. Think there is no decimal and multiply. That makes it simpler. Okay, 6 times 8, 6 is ones place. 6 times 8 is 48. Let me use a different ink. 6 times 8 is 48, so it is 4 and 8. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. 6 and 1. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Now we have to multiply by this 1. This is in tens place. 10 times. Do you see that? So we put a 0 here. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. We have to add them up, right? So let me push this page a bit forward. We get 8. 6 plus 8 is how much? 14. 4 and 1. So 9 plus 1, 10. 1. 2, 0, 4, 8. Now we should take care of decimals. Now we had 12.8. How many numbers are after decimal? One number, just one number. So we'll put decimal after one number. We get 204.8 as our answer. Do you see that? Is it right or wrong? What we can do is we can kind of estimate the answer. How? So what we will do is we'll estimate by rounding these numbers. 12.8. So it is, we can say, well, 12, let us round to tens, the whole numbers, right? So we can round this to 10 and we'll round this number to 20. If I multiply 10 and 20, what do I get? I get 200. Not bad, right? So that is one way of estimating. Very gross estimate, but good for us. Not bad either, right? We have a very close answer, 204. It works, right? So we can say that in 16 liters, under these circumstances, the car can be driven 204, so I'll round it to approximately 205 kilometers, right? So when we are talking about such big distances, we can round our answer to a whole number. So it becomes 205 kilometers, right? So you also learn rounding with that, okay? So in this example, you learn when to divide, when to multiply, how to divide and multiply with decimal numbers, and how to estimate your answer, and finally how to round them and write the answer. I hope all this comes together and helps you a lot. Thank you and all the best.